social self can only be developed by the contract with society, so the spiritual self can only be developed by the contract with the spiritual world. By Evelyn Underhill. Hello everyone, my name is Charmin J. Isaias and I am a student from BSHM 1A, Group 6. In this discussion, I would like to delve into Module 3 of Understanding the Self course, which focuses on unfolding the social self.
Lesson Objectives. Section 1, The Social Self. At the end of the section, our classmates are expected to explain, elaborate, and give example of social factors that shape the development of oneself. Create a conceptual diagram of how these social factors are intertwined and interactively influence their sense of self, and analyze and evaluate one's social behaviors and identity ways to manage them effectively.
Section 1. The Social Self. The Self and Social Agencies. The social self is largely influenced by the social group one belongs to throughout their life, starting with the family and expanding to school, communities, and large societal institutions such as religion, politics, media, education, and government. These social groups shape an individual's beliefs, values, behaviors, and sense of identity. The social self inevitably changes as one accommodates and assimilates beliefs promoted by this social group and systems. For example, a child growing up in a religious family may develop a strong sense of identity based on the religious beliefs and practices. This may involve participating in religious services and events, adhering to customs and traditions, and continuing to identify with their religious community as they grow older. All of these experiences contribute to shaping their social self and sense of identity. Culture. Culture refers to the beliefs, values, customs, behaviors, and artifacts that characterize a group or society. It is socially transmitted and learned through socialization. Culture is highly relative, varies depending on geographical, traditional, and individual contexts, and is a dynamic and constantly evolving concept. An example of how culture can impact an individual's thoughts, behaviors, and expression is the concept of time. In some cultures, punctuality and adherence to strict schedule are highly valued, while in others, a more relaxed approach to timekeeping is common. For instance, in many Western cultures, arriving on time for appointments, meeting, and social events is considered a sign of respect and professionalism, while in some Latin American cultures, arriving on time may not be as important, and being late may be more acceptable or even expected. This cultural difference in the value placed on time can be significantly impact an individual's behaviors and interaction in different settings.
So in the year 1935, the biological system theory was formulated by Yuri Bronfenbrenner that explained the bidirectional influence of individual systems to each other. In this theory, there are 5 specific systems of human development that really shapes an individual's sense of self. So those systems are the microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and the chronosystem. So in microsystem, this is where we as an individual has direct contact or interaction with, just like for instance, sa friends natin, sa family, and even sa school. So next, in mesosystem, this is where an interconnection between aspects of microsystem affects an individual. So just like for instance, the connection between the parent and yung friends natin, and between teachers and yung parents natin of an individual. So in exosystem, this is where we do not function directly, but it affects our own development. So just like for instance, our parents' workplace schedule. So we are not directly involved in that action, but we can feel the positive or negative force that is involved with the interaction with our own self. So next, in macrosystem, this is where the larger cultural context that an individual resides in as it comprises of our cultural values, customs, and laws. So just like for instance, in Philippines, even if it is the third world country, there is still a notion that life can be better if an individual will work abroad. So, next, in chronosystem, this is where the patterns of environmental events was the focus as it reflects the cumulative experiences of an individual as over the course of their lifetime. So, just like for instance, if someone is already graduated, then yung tao na yon will have the changes with his or her social self as there is an expectation na magwo-work siya and able to help his or her parents as well as the growth of the workplace that he or she was working in. So overall, this theory helps us to understand why we should behave differently in any situation that we are involved in.
Individualism values personal independence. Within individualist cultures, people are more likely to see themselves as separate from others, define themselves based on their personal traits, and see their characteristics as relatively stable and unchanging. An individualist sense of self is defined more by who they are on the inside, minimizing the influence of factors, contexts, and people outside the individual. Individualists tend to communicate in direct styles. They say what they mean, prioritizing the information is conveyed explicitly and unambiguously. European and Western cultures are typically more individualist. Collectivism values personal interdependence. In collectivist cultures, people are more likely to see themselves as connected to others, define themselves in terms of relationships with others, and see their characteristics as more likely to change across different contexts. A collectivist sense of self is defined more by who they are with other people or by their membership in a group. Maintaining social harmony, getting along with others, and meeting social expectations are more important in collectivist cultures. They tend to communicate in indirect styles. Collectivism imply what they really mean, but might say otherwise to avoid conflict or embarrassment. Asian and African cultures tend to be more collectivist. I, when the person speaking is doing the action, either alone or with someone else. I represents the individual's identity based on the response to those social behaviors and expectations. Me, when the person is speaking is receiving the action of the verb in some way, either directly or indirectly. The me and the I act to balance the self out.
Lesson objectives of Section 2, the socio-digital self. It is discuss and elaborate the different concepts of the social-digital self. Identify factors that influence one's online behaviors and analyze and evaluate one's social-digital behaviors and identify ways to manage them effectively. Today I'm going to discuss Section 2, the social-digital self. The socio-digital self is when people tend to reveal more about themselves online than they would in real life, or when they go above and beyond to be kinder helpful. In the same way that the world has changed from its more primitive state, technology has been a major topic of discussion in society for a long time, and as it develops, people are also learning to adapt to it. Some people were able to maintain their identity as their true selves, but others were so impacted by the technological advancement that they also changed who they were in the world. This is what is meant by having a digital self. The term social media describes the website and software programs that make it simple for users to share information, create content, and communicate. Social interaction has been altered by technology. People now can make friends online, when in the past, making friends require a face-to-face encounter. Some individuals have a separate internet persona from who they are in real life. People act differently since social media platforms do not require a physical presence. False identities can be created by humans, which could be harmful. I don't interact much on my few social media accounts despite having them. The 1990s serves as the internet launching pad as it developed and found its true purpose in the new millennium, growing into a massive platform. And now that social media platforms have developed, virtually anything can be done online. The platforms that we frequently use bear no liability for the data we disclose to them, but we are accountable for the actions we image for them, because our actions have consequences in the real world and can change with one or only one published post. We should be conscious of them at all times. It is an opportunity for us to communicate what we're longing for and should be valued and respected. Digital identity is the online identity that a person, group, or technological equipment claims to have in cyberspace. It is created from the user's data that is existing in the 2.0 world, as well as from their actions, opinions, images, navigation, as well as from the publications that other people have made about it. Also, these users have the ability to project many digital identities throughout various networks. Those who want to defame a person or brand by spreading false information on social media frequently take advantage of loopholes related to digital identification, because they frequently utilize one or more false personas to try to damage someone's reputation. Your digital identity consists of any personal information that can be linked to the real you. Among these are the social media posting you've written or remarked on, the comments you've made on photographs, the online bank account you use, and the search engine history. Everything about you that is available online basically make up your digital identity. Your name, email address, social media profiles are all examples of the information that can be included. Because it helps define who you are online, your digital identity is significant. In addition to being able to use to preserve your privacy, it may be used to verify your identity when logging in into websites or making payments.
Online disinhibition effect. It well known that people say and do things in cyberspace that they wouldn't originally say or do in the face-to-face world. It is the lack of restraint or feels when communicating in person. People feel safer saying things online which they would not say in real life because they have the ability to remain completely anonymous and visible behind a computer screen. There are two main categories of behavior that fall under the online disinhibition effect, which is benign disinhibition and toxic disinhibition. Benign online disinhibition can be seen as self-disclosure. With the help of internet anonymity, people could share personal feelings or disclose themselves in the way they are reluctant to do in real life. While toxic online disinhibition is when you have a tendency to act manner than you would in real life. You might say things that are more hostile or hurtful than you would in person, or people visit the dark underworld of the internet. Places of pornography, crime, and violence, territory they would never explore in the real world. In short, benign disinhibition brings us together and toxic disinhibition rips us apart. Managing responsible online behavior. It is important to regulate and to be aware the online behavior. There are some suggestions on how we can behave responsibly online. First, avoid posting statements when experiencing strong emotion and do not post or send anything that will embarrass you. Do not hang out with the wrong crowd online and offline. Also, be careful with our sharing, especially confidential information that may be used irresponsibly, and respect other people in online community. Cyberbullying happens because of individuals who display irresponsible and inappropriate online behavior. And to avoid cyberbullying, we need to be a responsible individual in any platform of online.
The self in a material world. The material self pertains to the objects, places, or even people that have the label mind. Such possessions are viewed as extensions of individuals' identities. For instance, your clothes reflect certain aspects of your personality, and you designated them as my wardrobe. For example, the body is identified as the innermost aspect of the material self. Also, you perceive certain body parts as more private or intimately yours as compared to the others. The next aspect is your clothing, the garments that protect as well as your body. This is followed by your family. They are connected to you by blood, share their glory as well as their shame. Your home comes next. It is where many aspects of your life have been developed. It is where you feel most comfortable, and it is greatly linked to your identity. This is then followed by other possessions such as gadgets, cars, collections, etc. In reality, it makes us decide on who we are based on our own likes and preferences, especially on what we need for us to be satisfied in life. It provides me things that I really need to in order to live, and the things that I just wanted to have. I have not yet discovered other parts of myself. To be honest, it sort of makes me feel that I have not yet partially known my true self every now and then. I know that I can be capable of still developing my personality at my teenage years. Getting more experience takes time to unfold.